Criminal Role 2 is really shaking things up, but I think the story of Memento's rise to success is more interesting. Make sure you guys smash the like, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more Oz content. Guess what? Ryzel is still setting up here in the top of the Apex in S tier. That really hasn't changed all that much, but A tier has slightly become rewritten right now. As Memento, I mean, with Shifter kind of falling out of the format, what do you kind of expect? This deck was going to kind of return back in full glory, and I find that really, really cool. Blue Eyes, the Primite deck, that's right, the combination packages of the Blue Eyes cards and the vanilla cards working together out here actually has opened up, I think, one of the more strong combinations of power cards that you're able to use against your opponent. And Malice sitting here in A tier. Yes, Malice definitely has had a major stronghold on the meta. Now in B tier, you're going to see some Azamina action down here. It's kind of funny because this deck, I don't think it was really expected to see develop, but it's taken an interesting form. Labyrinth Control actually being a relevant deck again is really, really cool. And we have Gem Knights. Gem Knights definitely entered into the OCG as a very strong contender. And the fact that Block Dragon is this thing holding this deck together is really, really strong. Now, C tier, you do have Chimera Illusion. You have True Draco. Not really surprised to see True Draco actually kind of being a rogue challenger. Goblins, being able to detach off Ryzel is pretty good. Mermail, yes, the hand-ripping combinations. Snake Eyes, definitely falling down here into the C tier. Tenpai also doing well down here. And you do see Voiceless Voice kind of moving up down here as well. We also have Ohime and Friends down in D tier. So Minkanko getting some action. Unchained. Infernoid, yeah, didn't see that one coming. Jirax have also been steering around back here, and the latest OCG trend of Primite Fiendsmith. The fact that I can just have an access point to a Fiend monster at any point in the game is pretty free. Let's pass on over to deck list. Starting things off here is the power of Ryzel. I think that this deck in this current incarnation shouldn't really surprise anybody. The fact that you do see the new rank 4 down here being that really, really strong card. And then you can see that this deck is having the Lancia Searcher down there. I gotta love Tachyoning, revealing, and searching for a light monster is so, so strong. Outside of that, this list looks pretty standard. I'm not gonna lie. All the 7 Tachyon searches in the world is very, very good. Ooh, we have our Memento list. And, you know, looking at this deck, it's not like this deck has changed fundamentally. The main deck is still structured fundamentally the exact same. That has not changed. 2 Memento Fusion, the 2 Goblin Cage, you know, 2 of the little Goblin Clorographer, and then, of course, you know, Apollosa for that end board piece. But, and also, this build does have access to Scythelock your opponent. By far one of the best traits that the OCG still has going for them. Alright, ooh, our Blue Eyes Primite pile. Now, looking at this, I do like the fact that we are playing the Monster Reborn in this deck. That's really funny, actually. Something to search off of the Crimson Dragon. This build going to 43 cards, also playing the additional copy of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, just so you can kind of do your thing. But this deck just makes a very strong board. You know, also being able to make the Baron is fine. The Stardust with the level 12 Synchro on your end board just feels really, really good. Next up is the current state of Malice. Double Gold Sarcophagus, 2 Allure of Darkness to get into that draw power to kind of find the pieces that you need. We are side digging those Ultimate Sliders because Ryzel is not a fun matchup for anybody out here. And of course, this deck, having access to Apollosa, does tend to kind of put it ahead of the competition a little bit. Any big end board piece that this deck can do is really good. Also, you do see that we are doing the Code Talker to draw some cards. That's pretty cool. All right, we have the Azamina build. Wow, this is just the fact that we are playing the big Azamina vacuum in here is they're really, really good. So this is just White Forest with the new stuff. And then, of course, the Fiendsmith package to kind of assist you in making your big end board for what it is. You have Rex Tremende also. And then, of course, I see we're playing the Gravity Collapse down there in the side deck to punish your opponent. That's actually hilarious. All right. Ooh, Labyrinth. 21 trap cards in here. Triple Dimensional Barrier, Triple Destructive Daruma Cannon. The OCG never really liked the simultaneous equation cannon stuff like the TCG does, but This does feature Destructive Daruma Cannon getting some major play time in here. Also, I love the triple Typhon and the triple copies of the Chaos Angel, because you got to support those 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance in case that randomness comes through. Our brilliant Fusion Turbo, or our Gem Knight Fusion Turbo strategy. I love the fact that they are playing the Altar in here, but this deck is driven by Block Dragon. Block Dragon is the centerpiece of this strategy. No matter how you look at the current iteration of Gem Knights, Block Dragon being that free piece that you can search with the Gallant Granite to pull through is so stupid, man. Like, consistency aside, Block Dragon should probably go. Ooh, we have your Illusion Chimera pile. Now, you do see we are playing one of the Azamina White Forest main deck monsters in here. It definitely helps with access to the Deception package. I did not expect to see the level of consistency we are seeing out here. It looks like the Deception package is starting to develop in some pretty interesting ways. I'm wondering if we're going to see Deception gain some value by the time Supreme Darkness drops out here, strictly because these OCG decks are playing it as much as they actually are. Ooh, we have Crystron. I expect Crystron to probably be something that the TCG might gloss over, or to the people that are going to rise to the occasion and actually play this deck, well, congratulations. You might get some relatively free wins. My only concern is Crystrons kind of feel very big brain. They also don't have Baron. Synchros don't have a generically good end board to really pressure into right now. You have a couple of cool things, but I don't really feel like the TCG version of Crystron is going to be able to get there. Woo, we have Goblin Bikers. Now, you are doing the full Fiendsmith combo in here. In the current iteration, I mean, it's just kind of the... You need to give Goblin Bikers something to kind of work towards. You know, yes, this deck can put up cool end boards, but it needs that little extra damage to be able to pressure on your opponent. I see we are also playing the Abao Q down there as well, which was, you know, that card really did kind of flop in the OCG, but it can do so many cool things. All right, Mermail Atlanteans. I do see we are taking advantage of 2 of the Supreme Darkness monsters. See, we do have the 1 extra deck monster down there. I do see that we are not dedicating any of the scales, you know, those spell cards that give like the negates. No, this build is not focusing on this. This is just, hey, you know, we're also only playing 1 Minstrel for the hand rip. That's kind of wild, actually. The TCG has been way more combo oriented with this, so to see that change is interesting. All right, we also have Snake Eyes. Oh man, this deck really is just clutching on to that negate back here. Deception in the 1 Hollowed Azamina. I see we are playing the 1 Escape out here, which is kind of cool. And then we have some droplets built into the main deck. This is really sad, actually, that this is what you're kind of seeing be forced upon you if you're playing a Snake Eyes deck in the OCG. Holy crap. Double Oak also being forced. Ugh. All right, Tenpai. Hey, look, we're playing triple Ultimate Slayer. The fact that Tenpai had to go to main decking triple Ultimate Slayer to even attempt to play the game against Ryzel is hilarious. But to be fair, you know, if Ryzel goes second or goes first against you, you know, it's just kind of game over. Actually, if they go first against you and they set up, going second is going to be a challenge as well. But you have some options. That's why you play the Ultimate Slayer. All right. Ooh, Voiceless Voice. Triple Pot of Prosperity to filter. That's, this must be, I also have the Underworld Goddess in here as well. I see we have the Dominus is kind of doing the thing, the Dynamondo options. Okay. I see we also have the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph down here as well. Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, I remember weekly when we were looking at these lists, and we were like, hey, you know, we have the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph this week, seeing play. Yeah, it's cool, but it leaves a little bit to be desired, for sure. Ooh, Minkanko. See, we are doing Ken and Gen shenanigans in here because you want to be able to get to your draw power. Giving your opponent a monster is not the worst. We now have access to Snatch Steal in this deck, which is really cute. I do see this deck gets to play as Sold, and I think that's one of the key defining points that kind of allows this deck the chance to shine, is because you can do little stupid interactions with the Sold, because you play so many gosh darn equips. All right. Ooh, we have Unchained for you. Yeah, it must be nice to have triple copies of Aruha. It literally just makes this deck into a completely different creature. We're also playing one copy of the Fiendsmith's quick play Hornet Drones to put that monster on the field so we can actually, go through Fiendsmith combo. And of course, they do have the Summon Sorceress and the 8 Battle Queue. TCG literally still has no idea when we are going to get Summon Sorceress. I'm assuming Rarity 4 will get some push with this, but for now, maybe someday. Ooh, we also have Infernoids sporting off the cluster pile of cards in here. Triple Reasoning, Triple Monster Gate. You are playing the triple copies of the Dark Fusion in here. And I see we are playing a copy of Fire Recovery in here as well. I guess it's just one of those situations you look at and you're like, hey. And of course, the Mayakashi and the transaction rollback so that you can maximum cheese your opponent. I mean, hey, if I could play as much stuff and ram it into a pile deck like this, like the OCG gets to do, I would consider that too. Oh, hey, it's our Dirac pile. So you're seeing the Tyranno Infinity up there, which is really, really cool. The fact that, you're just able to kind of miscon into it and laugh at your opponent is really crazy. I also see, playing the 3 Meteors in here, so you can kind of clean things up, along with the 1 Dirac trap card as well. If you want a fun deck, or at least the possible deck in the future to look at that you can have some fun with, I think it's going to be Diracs, honestly. And so this is the Fiendsmith special double white Dowstun in here. So I mean, when you can play triple Lacrima and the Fiendsmith package is limited in the way it is, the fact that you can make this deck work really, really says something about the OCG, and just this looks fun. I'm looking forward to this. So that is everything that we have for you today. Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.